Hey guys, this is EJ Holland with the Wolverine.com, and Michigan has won a key recruiting battle on the trail. Before we dive into that, I want to remind you guys to subscribe to the Wolverine.com today. Just $10 until next football season gets you premium insider information on all things Michigan recruiting, the team, basketball recruiting, NIL transfer portal, everything you can think of, plus a great message board community over on the fort right now for just $10 until August of 2023. All right, guys, let's dive into Michigan's newest win on the recruiting trail, and that is three-star defensive back DeJuan Waller out of Youngstown Cheney in Ohio. Waller's commitment comes as no surprise. He made an official visit over the weekend. The Wolverines were trending. We've had our picks in for a couple weeks, months, not sure, a little while. We've had predictions in. It was just a matter of if Michigan was going to push for Waller. He's definitely an intriguing prospect, so let's start with that. He's 6'3", 195 pounds. He's listed as a safety, but he is a guy that Michigan really wants at corner. Now, Steve Clinkscale targeted him late. He's a former Toledo commit, so a little bit of a late riser, a bit of a hidden gem out in Ohio. But Steve Clinkscale found him out in Youngstown, where Clink is actually from, evaluated him, sent an offer. There was a little bit of a time period where we didn't know exactly where he was on the board, if Michigan was going to end up pushing or not. But Michigan always liked the size and the upside, and that's what Waller is right now. He's a big, tall corner. Again, he could end up playing safety. He could end up adding a lot of weight and spinning down to linebacker. But as of right now, they like him as a corner. So the things that stand out about Waller immediately are his length and his height. I mean, he's a guy that's going to frustrate opposing wide receivers with that length. He's very physical, but he is a guy that is raw. I mean, extremely raw. He has a lot of work to do from a technical standpoint. And so Michigan's a great fit for him to learn. Now, I don't think Waller is going to make any sort of immediate impact. I don't think Waller is a big-time sleeper like I did maybe with Rod Moore, who I was very high on, another three-star defensive back out of Ohio. But I do think that Waller has some potential. It's just going to take Clink some time to develop him and teach him proper technique, teach him how to use his length to his advantage, teach him the proper patience, develop his footwork, develop his speed. And that's something that concerns me with Waller. He has that size, but does he have the speed? Can he keep up with wide receivers in man coverage? I think right now Waller is a little bit more of a project. I'm interested to see how he develops in the strength and conditioning program. Like I said, he has the size and the frame. He can add some more weight. He's already listed at 6'3", 195 pounds. So he does have the frame to carry a lot more weight. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if he does end up moving back to safety or potentially spinning down and becoming a linebacker. There's a lot to work with there. So we'll see what Ben Herbert decides to do when it comes to his body, getting him in the strength and conditioning program, getting him in the nutrition program. But Michigan did a better job of recruiting him overall than Kentucky did. Once they made him a priority, it was pretty easy to see that the pick was going to be Michigan. He has a great relationship with Clinkscale. Like I mentioned earlier, Clink is a Youngstown native, so they really clicked on a personal level. Defensive coordinator Jesse Minter made an in-home visit along with Clink before Harbaugh's in-home visit, and Minter played a nice role in getting Waller on board. And then Harbaugh obviously helped seal the deal on his own in-home and on his individual meeting on the official visit. Now, again, I know Waller is not a super highly touted prospect, but Clink did a great job of finding guys that were under the radar in the state of Ohio during his time in Kentucky. And Kentucky itself still finds really good hidden gem type talent around the state of Ohio, even with Clink now at Michigan. So I think having Kentucky in there says that Waller does have some potential, but I do think it's going to take multiple years for him to sit, develop, learn. I project him as more of a late career starter. Right now, he's ranked as the number 688 overall prospect in the country, and he actually did make quite a significant jump from what I can recall. He was ranked in the 1200s in the On3 consensus, so like a 500 plus spot jump in the rankings. But I do think that's where he probably belongs. I would grade him as more of a mid to low 3-star. Again, I know that's not super exciting, but you have to look at the potential, what he can become. Right now, he's kind of a ball of clay waiting to be molded. I do think it's going to help that he is coming in with a teammate. So Michigan was able to land fellow Youngstown Cheney product, Jason Hewlett, who is a 3-star linebacker. And I do like what Hewlett brings to the table. Like Waller, Hewlett is kind of an under-the-radar prospect as well. But I think Hewlett's a little bit more of an exciting player. Michigan took him as a defensive athlete that can move around the field. He was a former Cincinnati commit. I do like him as more of a traditional linebacker, but he can play safety. He can come off the edge. The speed and the size is really, really intriguing. I actually have Hewlett graded as a low 4-star, but they got 2 upside guys out of Youngstown Cheney, and Michigan's trying to rebuild that bridge into Ohio. I mean, the Wolverines were able to land 4 commitments out of Ohio in a 4-day span right after beating Ohio State. Taking Waller shows that Michigan is committed to continuing to make those inroads in Ohio, and a lot of that has to do with Klink being an Ohio guy, having recruited Ohio for many, many years. Klink has a lot of connections with coaches. He knows how to relate with kids. I think when you look at the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry, you see a guy like Rod Moore, and it means a lot to him. So they want to find guys where that rivalry means a lot to them. They want to obviously continue to beat Ohio State on a regular basis. And these guys like Waller, like Hewlett, they might have those chip on their shoulders that help them continue to beat the Buckeyes for years to come. So we'll see how things pan out with Waller in the next few years. But as always, if you want more Michigan recruiting coverage, make sure to subscribe to thewolverine.com right now for just $10 until next football season. And like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is completely free.